Good evening and welcome to another edition of Talking Point on the Nigerian Television Authority, Nta Akure. This is the program where we highlight and discuss issues in the society with the aim of informing, educating and providing solutions to this issue. I am Abiola Ariyo. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening. If you are just joining us, this is Talking Point on Nta Akure, the dynamic station. Our topic of discussion today is building collapse in Nigeria, way forward. And as usual, I won't be doing the talking alone. I have a guest with me in the studio this evening. My guest is Dr. Olawale Olushoga. He is an architect and he is going to be doing justice to this topic this evening. Dr. Olushoga, it's good to have you join us on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Doctor, there have been reported cases of building collapse recently in Nigeria with death recorded. What could be the contributory factors?
All right, thank you so much. When it comes to building collapse, there are a number of issues, but then there are two very major or germane ones, if I would say. And the first one will be the human aspect to it, and of course the natural aspect to it. Of course, with the natural issues, there's almost nothing we can do about that one. But God so good, over here in this country, we are blessed with good weather, and the issue of natural occurrence is not so predominant. However, for the human angle to it, there are a list of them too, but of course we may speak to some for the essence of this discussion. First will be, in no particular order, if I would say, design issues, construction errors here and there. We also have the issue of workmanship, unskilled labor handling, projects. On the structural side to the loading systems of some of these buildings too is also an issue. For the loading system now, if I would say, with examples now, we could have some people who meet with the professional now. I want X kind of building, a bungalow, if I would say, and because he makes an extra money along the way, he decides to increase, forgetting that that foundation that was done for that particular structure was just to carry a bungalow. And so we load that, and everybody lives, or even during the construction, to the thing falls to the ground. And failure could happen during construction, and it could happen to existing buildings too. So we could have old buildings that collapse, and we could have buildings that are under construction too that collapse. And of course, there is also the elephant in the room, the very big one, which is corruption.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you talk about it. Some people say substandard building materials. They say substandard building materials are said to be part of courses. How do we check this? Can this be checked in our society?
Yes, I believe so. However, we have reasons why these things still linger, and I will put that blame at the at the people who are supposed to ensure that we have standard materials. I would not really blame those who buy them, but I will blame those who allow them come. You go to the market and I want to buy reinforcement bars, and because they tell you, this one is 10 naira, this one is 20 naira, so you want to believe on the face value 20 naira should be the best one, and of course the expensive one will still be the fake one. And people buy those things without suspecting, and they take them the same way to the site, and of course use them, and we have this kind of issue. So yes, building substandard building materials could be checked, and those who are saddled with responsibility of doing that are those who are to ensure that we have the right materials in the market.
Yeah, you are an architect. What do you consider when designing a building?
Okay, thank you so much. Before I answer that question, I would like to really make a little definition of who an architect is. And with that, we'll be able to answer the question going forward. Now, because we are not in the classroom, I would just like to give a layman definition of who an architect is. An architect is a professional who is qualified and responsible for designing buildings, planning them, and also supervising the construction. So there are three issues here. First, he is a professional. Secondly, he is qualified. And number three, he supervises. So what we have here is everybody moves around. I'm a contractor, I'm an architect, and they all undertake construction and design activities here and there when they are neither qualified nor professional. So that is one issue first. Then secondly, as an architect, yes, a few things I consider, I would not say about others. First of all is the client's requirement. You approach me, I want to design X, Y, Z, and of course the first thing I ask you, what do you want? I want a one-bedroom apartment, I want this, I want that. So those are written down, and of course work starts with them. Then secondly is the issue of the budget, which is the cost. Because you said you want 5 bedrooms, and I just go ahead and start designing all manner, and then the client cannot afford to pay. And so we have to start making adjustments here and there. So when you say, okay, what is the budget? 10 naira is okay, madam, client, we cannot do X, Y, Z. We cannot have it as big as you want. So those are issues. Again, is the site orientation, what is happening around the site. Again, is also the functionality. Okay, is it a church? Is it a residential apartment? So all these things are things we put in check. And of course, what the standards say about that particular area. You may want a 27-story building for a place where approval cannot be given for only, a story building. So those are considerations where I'm able to advise you going further before we actually put pen to paper.
Yeah, we have professional bodies that regulate this building. Yeah. So what are their roles? What are the roles of professional bodies in reducing the incidence of building collapse?
Okay, thank you so much. Professional bodies are saddled with responsibility of, first of all, bringing in many or several registered members. The end game is to make sure we have many of them. The more we have qualified, how do I call them, professionals, the more we reduce the quacks. Okay, yes, quacks is because you are either a professional or a qualified one or a quack, and we have them across all professions too. And so the issue of the professional bodies again is to also monitor and ensure that standards are upheld during all these construction phases. As you see them, you ensure that we have more professionals who are duly registered, and also we ensure that we make ensure monitoring of some of these projects when we see them. They also make those kind of laws as it meets up with professional standards. Okay, we want setbacks to be this way. We want also mix of there are different professional bodies when it comes to a construction project, because the construction work is a very high risk activity. So the architects have theirs, the engineers have theirs. All these two is towards ensuring that construction is done and done very, very well.
We are still talking about these professional bodies. To what extent would you say the enforcement of building regulatory bodies are up to the task in their assignment? Are they really working? Why do we still have this building collapse?
Okay. Well, that is quite dicey, and permit me, I will try and answer it the most diplomatic way possible. Yes, they are working, And when we have these incidents, we have current without statements, we have as the architect based without statements, here and there. But again, we should be talking about stopping it before it actually happens. And not that we are now reactionary, to some of these things. Yes, they are working, but I feel like they can still do much more. You walk around the streets, around the town, and you see, a building that is not looking well, even at first of all. You expect that this is places, locked up and work shouldn't go on. And again, we still see work go on, in these places too. Something is clearly wrong. A building is marked today, stop work, and tomorrow it is opened again, work continues. Some even continue with work when there's still a stop work order on the 8th, and those kind of things. And we also have buildings whether, in remote areas where people hardly get to, for whatever reason. They happen in remote areas, streets that are not close to the highways that, of course, maybe they are not able to get there for whatever reason. So yes, they are working, but I still feel like more can still be done to supervise or monitor those construction works.
With the economic situation of Nigeria, would you say the economic situation is contributing to the challenge of building collapse due to the poor construction?
Another dicey one. Yes, to an extent, and no again. So I will pick it on two sides. On one hand, yes, when there is no money, people hardly build. Again, not having money should not give you the right to build something defective. So why don't we wait till we can afford it and do it well, than do it anyway when we are not financially ready for it. So it is not really an excuse to say because the economy is bad, then when we have to use 2 bags of cement, we use 1, And there's this thing that an architect or a builder's errors live long after him. The doctor, permit me, the patient is, push him straight into, but for every time you read the news and say, 10 die in so building, till death, you keep remembering how, you are responsible for wasting people's life and those kind of things. So why don't we do it well when we are ready to do them, and not manage to do them when we are not ready to do them?
I want to take myself an example. I want to build a house. Who am I going to involve? Contractor? Is the contractor the same thing with the architect?
Okay.
You see, that's our contractor.
Okay.
Is the contractor the architect? Okay. Is it just supervising?
Okay. The duty of the contractor is to actually develop that design.
Okay.
But before it gets to when the contractor will take, the contractor, when I was in training, my boss would call them a robot. He's given an information to do this, and he just goes to do it. What becomes what the contractor works with is what the professionals work on. Okay. The architects take care of the building. I want it to look like a fish, I want it to look like a cake, whatever the client wants. And it fits the same to the structural engineer. Okay, how does this fish stand? How does this building stand? It takes care of the reinforcement, and a lot of other issues. The slabs, the columns, the beams, how those things are supposed to stand. The structural engineer does that. We have again the M&E, that's the mechanical and electrical engineer, services and all what's not, lightings, wirings, and all those are also taken by the M&E professionals too. After that, we still have a lot other subsidiary and allied ones. And we still have again the cost consultant, who happens to be the quantity surveyor, who will tell you as face value of estimated cost of construction is 10 million because he has checked number of doors vis-a-vis how much the market value is as at that time. And of course we have reviews time and time again. So these documents, after everything has been checked, taken to the approval office, stand ready for building, then we call either a tender for the contractors, advertisement if it's a big project. But if you have one, I have somebody who is a contractor, okay. It takes the document. But again, the architect who originated that thing is still supposed to be part of, so that, okay, I put this here because the science of why that door is there, the science of why that window is there is the responsibility of the architect. So it comes to supervise it. So when I was defining, I didn't say the architect builds. So the contractor does that, but the architect just supervises to ensure. So that chain, if it is there, then there will hardly be a problem. And that is because I am registered now with my license. And so it is renewed yearly. So if I undertake a project that is defective like that, they come for me. And of course, that license took years to acquire. And so you are not willing to throw it away because of construction issues. So those are some of the players when it comes to designing and constructing buildings.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We will quickly go on a short break now, and when we come back, Talking Point continues on Nta Akure. You're welcome back. This is still Talking Point on the Nigerian Television Authority, Nta Akure. Our topic of discussion so far has been building collapse in Nigeria, way forward. And my guest has been an architect. He is the person of Dr. Olawale Olushoga. Yeah, Dr. Olushoga, I'll tell my question now is, which role will you assign to government or communities in checking this incessant building collapse in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you so much. There are two actors in that particular question. On one hand, we have the government, and on the other hand, we have the communities. So on the side of the government now, I would like to see more in terms of making an example of people when these things happen. You hear every time. I was reading a document in Vanguard by Koren, that's the regulatory agency, that's engineers, saying about 22 collapses happened in the last 7 months in Nigeria. That is alarming. 22. So more needs to be done in making people responsible for actions such as this. When we hear this collapse, yes, there's that noise in the media, in the news about what has happened, how many casualties and whatnot. But we don't eventually see that there is a prosecution done and there is a name, being mentioned all the way down to legislation and all whatnot. So the more that continues to happen, this will also continue to happen. So when you know that a good name, they say, is better than money. So your name is right there in the news. Nobody wants that ever. And so more needs to be done in ensuring that offenders across board, the architect, the contractor, the client, everybody should have a taste of this, provided they took part in those kind of defective buildings. And then on the side of the community, well, I don't think they can do more than reporting. I go about, I see the mix, I see the building not looking okay. I should be able to run to the somebody is doing XYZ in my area that is not looking nice. Please, I would like an inspection. I would like, and once that is done, we know that they will serve as the watchdog, particularly for those construction done in remote areas where some of these monitoring and enforcement teams can't get to. So they serve as the third eye to look and reporting same to the planning authority, and then the governors to that political will to make sure that wherever you are, you are going to face the music when it happens on your side, clients and professionals all together.
On a final note this evening, I want you to advise we that want to build, the builders out there, what should we watch out for? Your advice to us.
Okay. Yes. That is also very important, and because in this line of work we have seen a lot. You know, there is an adage, or we like an adage, or a dramatic expression, whatever it is. A saying, penny wise, pound foolish. You know, you have money to undertake a construction project. I have 50 million in my pocket. What makes that building a reality involves a lot of professionals too. And then you stand the risk of letting that money go down the drain if you don't employ the right set of people. When you are pregnant with child, you will take the child to the hospital. You will not, because you have a sister who did nursing, and take them there, please open her up, and so we need to make the clients know that yes, professionals are not professionals because they are just professionals. They are professionals because they have had track record of experience over the years in doing this. And I think what puts people off most times is the cost of paying just professionals. But again, what you stand to gain is also more than what you are running away from. And again, I mean, how many percent are they actually going to take from the construction process? So I would advise people who are prospective clients to make sure they take their building projects through the right professionals, qualified professionals who have someone who they report to, and not necessarily anybody that they just know builds all over the place. So that way I think we can minimize some of these issues.
Thank you very much. I will want to say a very big thank you to my guest, Dr. Olawale Olushoka. When next we call on you, you gladly oblige our call.
Sure, I will be more than happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Viewers at home, this is where we will be drawing the curtain on today's edition of Talking Points. Join us same time next week for another interesting edition. Till then, I am Abiola Awiyo. Good evening.